introduce in a second. But before we do that, I want to just bring these folks back that's here every week back to the show. Hey, what's up, man?
Doing great, doing great.
You're looking kind of studious today.
Well,
I don't even like a student.
I gotta prepare, I gotta take the look. I gotta have the look.
You ready for the night show?
Absolutely.
It's going to be a whopper, ain't it?
Yeah.
Probably one of our best.
Looking forward to it.
Okay. And to my right, we have...
Nichelle.
How are you, Nichelle?
Great. How are you doing, Kenny?
I'm good. I'm supposed to say that, you're the favorite, so you're the favorite.
What? No.
Is that part of my script?
No.
What, I wasn't supposed to say that?
No.
Your lines are wrong.
Oh, my lines are wrong. See, I got to find another producer. I'm sorry.
He's
Sorry.
great.
Sorry.
He's doing
I'm
great.
pleading the fifth.
How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm fabulous. Yeah.
You good? You
I'm
ready for
doing all
tonight's
right.
show?
I think so.
Okay. And Sonia, who is not supposed to be said to be my favorite, but she's a favorite. So, welcome back. How's it going?
Thank you. Yes, the script is wrong. You were supposed to say that I was the favorite today.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's what it was.
You know,
Because
I got my
last
lines.
week you said Nichelle was the favorite,
Right.
and then you just said, and there's Sonya. But
Maybe it's not the issue. Oh, that's not one of us. Maybe it's not the issue with the producer. Maybe it's the writer.
and who wrote the script?
I have no idea. Probably the engineer, but we'll leave her out. So,
Everything's great. Happy Sunday.
happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
You guys Cowboys fans? Are you guys Trump's fans? No, we're not gonna do that. Okay, are you guys Biden fans? No, we can get into that later. So, I want to go ahead and introduce our very, very, very special, and I feel privileged to have someone of her caliber on our show tonight. This is our first, isn't it?
Yes.
Won't be our last.
No.
So, I want to introduce
One time.
a young lady
One time.
who has great credentials,
One time.
and her name is Judge Williams. How are you, Judge Williams?
No.
One time.
My time, man.
One time.
More time?
One
More
time.
We got so excited about this
We
thing.
got more stuff we
So
gotta do
so
first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like way off.
Slow
Yes.
your roll, buddy.
So more time. Okay.
Yes.
Is that what's going on? So I'm gonna pass it over
That's
to
what more time is.
I'm gonna pass it over to Aya
Yes.
so that he can, take us into what we're gonna talk about tonight.
Yes. So today we're going to be talking to an esteemed person running for judge, Texas Supreme Judge.
Okay.
And later on, we will talk about the the crazy debate, as well as our dear leader who has fallen with COVID, apparently.
The leader of the free world.
Yes, and we will preview the vice president debate
Okay.
between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence.
We probably should talk about last week's debate too. What do you think?
Oh, we're gonna throw that in.
Throw that
definitely,
in?
definitely
Okay.
throw that in.
We'll touch on that.
Yes, yes. The interruptions, the boastfulness, the words like clown and shut
That's
up,
Shut up.
Stuff like that.
It was a lot of
Yes.
stuff, man.
Yes, and ladies, do you guys have that that feeling of what last week was about? Just giving you full of life and hope.
You're like, what?
Did you mean heartburn?
Ah.
No.
They're probably just as lost as I am.
Are you talking about the Lindsey Graham
Yes.
debate? That
Yes.
one too?
Yeah. Oh yes,
Oh, that
yes. The senatorial.
McConnell
debate.
has one coming up too, doesn't he?
Yes.
I think they just
Oh.
agreed.
Oh, he's
Oh,
gonna
they
start.
agree? Is it
Oh,
going to be finally a
really?
woman?
Yeah.
Wow.
A woman
Moderator?
moderator?
Well, I don't know who the moderator is.
Okay.
You know who was a good moderator was the one that did the Graham Harrison debate.
It was a
She
South
was
Carolina senatorial debate.
she was amazing.
Yeah.
Like she should have done Trump and Biden because
Yes.
she maintained control.
I think they're gonna get somebody from Kentucky. One of those stations out there gonna do it.
Yes, but that debate was great as far as the questioning from local reporters,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the moderator keeping people on task.
Yeah.
Yes, and it was so funny because Jamie Harrison was more concerned about COVID than Lindsey,
Mm-hmm.
and Jamie Harrison had a
Plexiglass
Plexiglass
wall
shield.
surrounding him.
yes,
They did.
yes, and so Jamie was focused on COVID, and he kept with the topics. Lindsey Graham was repeating talking points as far as Amy Coney Barrett.
No matter what the question was,
Yes,
it always came back to Amy Barrett.
yes, and he constantly squirmed all through the whole debate. Even at times in the beginning, his mic was going off.
Right.
But despite that, he had no control over the debate.
Okay.
We're ready.
We're ready?
So, we're going to get back into that.
All right.
But right now, we have a very special guest. I want to welcome to the show, We the People. Matter of fact, I feel privileged, like I said, I feel privileged having someone of this caliber on our show. Okay? I want to welcome Judge Williams. Hi, Judge Williams. How are you?
I am great. How are you all?
I'm doing great. And if you don't know everyone, I don't know if you're around for the introduction, but we have Aya.
How you
Of
doing?
course, you know Sonia.
Of course.
Hey, Stace, how are you?
Hey, good to see you.
You too.
And then we have Nichelle.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you also.
So I'm going to turn the mic over to Sonia because she wants to talk to you a little bit.
Okay, so I get the pleasure, Stace, of asking you the first question because we wanted to make sure that we were totally transparent and let people know that you and I are friends and
Yes.
that we have been lifelong friends. So, having said that and given all the proper disclaimers, let me say, and let me ask you, just tell us a little bit about your election journey to this point.
Okay, well, hello everyone. I'm Judge Staci Williams. I'm currently the presiding judge of the 101st Civil District Court in Dallas, which is the highest trial court level. I hear only civil cases such as personal injury, medical malpractice, oil and gas, real estate, and what's called considered complex commercial cases. However, last spring I declared my candidacy for the Texas Supreme Court. The Texas Supreme Court is the highest court in the state of Texas. And those of you who are not from Texas, we elect our judges in partisan elections. So I had to go through a Democratic primary. My opponent was a very well-financed, supported by the Democratic establishment here in Texas, but we took 65% of the vote. Out of 254 counties in Texas, took 246. I even beat her own home county, Hidalgo, by 61% of the vote. So we've got lots of momentum, and just this morning, the Houston Chronicle endorsed my candidacy. I am the only Democrat to have gotten that endorsement. So I am absolutely thrilled. But again, Sonia, as you know, in my last two elections, it's always been a grassroots campaign, and as much as grassroots campaign that is statewide in the state of Texas can be, we're doing that and taking our message to the people.
So as a follow-up to that question, then we want to know why are you running, Staci, and why should we care?
All right. Number one, I'm running because the Texas Supreme Court is out of touch with the local people. For example, I'm sure all of you read about their decisions regarding evictions and foreclosures. All right. We have something called COVID going on, and people have lost their jobs. They're not getting their salaries, so they cannot pay their rent or their mortgages. The Texas Supreme Court rightly imposed a moratorium, but then they lifted that moratorium. Total hypocrisy. Look, they're state employees. They are still getting their state salaries, so they don't have that problem. But they are not thinking about the everyday working person in Texas. Regarding vote by mail. Now, the Texas Supreme Court has been closed since March. The Texas Supreme Court conducts its hearings via Zoom because they fear COVID. But yet they will not apply that same logic to the people of Texas who fear getting COVID and allow them to vote by mail. So we've got some hypocrisy going on. We've got a Texas Supreme Court who's out of touch with the working class folks of Texas. And I'm going to bring that back. You know, Sonia, I've had to work hard for everything in my life. No one's called me up and given me the hookup for any job. And that's just what my opponent has gotten. He represented he was in a big firm, represented multinational corporations. Then he was John Forden, who's running again for re-election for Senate in Texas, Assistant Attorney General. Then he went back to big firm, made lots of money. Then he became Rick Perry's General Counsel and then Chief of Staff. Then the ultimate hookup came up. Hey, you want to be on the Texas Supreme Court? This man has never been a judge in his life. and he got elevated to the highest court of the Texas Supreme Court. And we can talk later, but you can tell that in his opinions, he's absolutely clueless. He hasn't been trained by the Texas Municipal Courts Association like I have. He hasn't been trained by the Texas the educational arm for district courts. And I've even gone the extra step. I've been trained at the National Judicial College. None of that training, and he's making decisions. So you get good old boys in, you get good old boys decisions.
Judge Williams, this is Ada. I have a question, follow up to that. Did your opponent agree to debate?
Okay, he had debated, but we had two, obviously, endorsement meetings. We had the endorsement for the Houston Chronicle. He wasn't available, so they interviewed me separately. Just last Friday, we had the Dallas Morning News endorsement meeting. So we did have a chance to exchange ideas, and I think he was pretty surprised about my comments regarding his dissenting opinions because he bragged, I write more dissenting opinions than any justice on the Texas Supreme Court. But guess what? Those dissents aren't worth a hill of beans. He is no Ruth Bader Ginsburg. What he does is he considers himself a textualist, and regardless of what the issue is, he doesn't care. For example, there's a divorce case. And the wife received 80% of the house, and the husband got 20%. The wife appealed because her kid had been sexually molested by her ex-husband. So she said he should not have any percentage ownership in this house. Went up to the Texas Supreme Court. And they're no hot liberals because they're all Republicans. They agreed and said this was not a fair and just division of the property of this Maryland estate. Not Justice Boyd. He said, hey, it's discretionary. The law says that the trial judge has discretion. No, I'm against it.
Wow.
That's
let me tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let me tell you another, because it's just, if it were just one, I would be, kind of nitpicking. But he's got a history of it. You'll love this one, because a lot of people care about criminal courts. So in 2014, this law had been validated by the Court of Criminal Appeals, which in Texas is our highest court for criminal cases. They said it was solicitation of a minor through the internet, invalid, unconstitutional. 2014. This individual got convicted for this law. So neither the judge, neither the defense attorney, neither the prosecutor, none of them knew it. So they put this gentleman on deferred adjudication, and of course, as usual, he didn't meet it, and he got put in jail, convicted. Well, then he got out, and his lawyers were like, wait a second, you should have never been convicted. The law didn't even exist. So in Texas, we have something called the Turmoil Act, where you can get compensation for being wrongfully convicted. So it does up the chain, it gets to the Texas Supreme Court. My conservative Republicans say, you know what, he was wrongfully convicted. Come on, give him money. Not Justice Boyd. Justice Boyd in his sentence takes you through this tortuous dissent, saying, well, he was never ever actually innocent because the law didn't exist, so therefore he shouldn't get access to those funds.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's awful.
Wow.
That's terrible. This is Nichelle here.
More awful story?
Sure.
Go, keep going.
Wow, there's more.
Okay. So there's a doctor in South Texas named Dr. Aliman. He made the horrible mistake of signing a death certificate as opposed to signing it electronically. The Texas Medical Board wanted to sanction him for signing the death certificate rather than doing it electronically. Goes up to the Texas Supreme Court. Texas Supreme Court says, hold on, you can't sanction this doctor for signing the death certificate as opposed to electronically signing it. The Texas Medical Practices Act was intended to take care of those doctors who, for example, give you the wrong eye drops and then you're blind, or they operate on you for a heart valve and you end up being a paraplegic. It's not for this. Okay, those are my conservative Republicans. What does Justice Boyd do? You know it. He's going to say, the law said he was supposed to be signed electronically, this death certificate, he needs to be sanctioned.
textualists.
Wow. Wow.
So that's my incentive for running.
Wow.
And if you read the Houston Chronicle's endorsement, they adopt my criticism of his sentence.
Interesting.
Wow.
Very
So
interesting.
I have another question for you. So people of color have a history of mistrusting the legal system. I'd like to know, what are you currently doing to inspire the trust and confidence of the public right now?
Okay, first let me just give a little background. In Texas, the Texas Supreme Court only hears civil issues. So we hear probate, personal injury, family, and juvenile. We have a separate Supreme Court for criminal cases. So what I'm doing as a district court judge, I created a program called the Citizen Civil Academy. It's a free, nonpartisan program to educate citizens about the civil court process. Because people understand, they hear all the time, pipelines to prison, they get the criminal issues. But they're clueless when I tell them, I'm a civil judge. I can't put you in jail, but I can make you pay a heck of a lot of money. So we've had students as young as 7 and as seasoned as 92. We've taken it all over Dallas County, and we've had over 350 graduates. And what's unique about this program, I pay for this program out of my campaign funds. No federal, state, or local funds are used. And really, I don't get anything out of it so far as career-wise, because when you hear some judges talking about all their great programs, they're criminal judges, and if someone graduates their program, that person might get the charges reduced, and that's a case off that judge's docket. Well, the nature of the cases that I hear in district court, those people, they know how to work the system. They can afford expensive lawyers. So it is truly my gift to the citizens of Dallas County, but we've expanded it. We've taken it to Collin County, which is north of Dallas. And then we've even decided, even through campaigning and COVID, we have a Zoom version of the Citizen Civil Academy. We've taken it to Smith County, we've taken it to the Tyler NAACP, and tomorrow I'm taking it out to Lubbock in West Texas. So I'm very proud of it.
So how do you sign up to be a part of that?
Well, you know what? I'll send you guys a link.
Great.
But we can sponsor one. Maybe you want to sponsor one for your audience. It's fast-paced, it's fun, and we give lots of information. For example, I bet your listeners don't know, if you're from the state of Texas, the best-kept secret. For $20, you can talk to a lawyer for 30 minutes.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we show them how to look up. One of the things when people get stopped by the police, it's because they have outstanding tickets. All right. We all know you get a speeding ticket, you just stick it in the side and you try to ignore it. Well, that's how people got stopped. That's how Sandra Bland got stopped. So if you went to a lawyer and said, hey, do a background check on me, that could cost you thousands of dollars. Well, at the Citizen Civil Academy, we give you those websites so you can look on a local level, county level, and state level to see if there are any outstanding warrants. And it's really good so you have children or grandchildren before they go out on the roads, because we know what happens when you're driving while black. Heck, when you're just standing while black.
Right.
So we try to equip people attending the Citizens Academy not only with information, but also with card. We give them a thick pamphlet so they have that information that they can share.
That is
Wow.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can this be incorporated in school curriculum?
Well, it could be right now. It's primarily geared for not really adults, because people bring their children to the Citizen Civil Academy. I guess it could be. I've never actually explored that option because it's a one-man shop. I need help.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I do have a question. It's kind of, for me, right, just based on what you already provided for us. This year, the Supreme Court ruled to release the Salon order who defied the governor's orders for the Dallas County judge's orders, and the governor's orders. How would you handle the situation as a member of the court?
Okay. Judges are governed by the Texas Rules of Judicial Conduct. All right. So I can't. That issue still actually is before the court. What they did, which was so striking, they granted a mandamus to get Shelley Luther out of jail. Now, I've done my research. It's been more than 5 years since the Texas Supreme Court has ever issued a mandamus. So it's going to go back to the trial court, and then it will work its way back up to the Supreme Court. And I'm prohibited from giving any opinion on how I may or may not rule.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
Still some education there.
Absolutely. I thought it was a done deal.
Yeah, so did
I thought it
I.
was over.
I did too.
They just wanted to get her out of jail so she could run for, I think they said House Senate, and I didn't follow it. The election was Tuesday. I don't know if she won or lost.
No, it's a runoff for the state Senate seat. Around
Okay, yeah, they had about 8 Republicans and I think 1 Democrat. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's still her and another Republican for the runoff. So it's still undecided yet if she's going to get to the seat.
Interesting.
Does anybody else have any questions? Kenny, did you have a special question?
Did you have a question?
I did not.
You didn't? Okay. Well, Judge Williams, thank you again for coming, but I do have a question for you. I know for past several presidential elections, during those campaigns, a lot of those candidates were saying, this is the most important election of your life. In general, how do you feel about voting this time around?
Oh my God! If you didn't watch that debate last Tuesday, if you don't know that this is the most important election of our lifetime, if you do not see how they're trying to ramrod Amy Barrett, whatever her name is, in the U.S. Supreme Court, if you don't know that this is the most important election of our lifetime, I don't know what else will convince you. I mean, our lives are on the line. When you have a president of the United States who gives code signals to a white supremacist organization.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so I'm with you on that one. I've been here in Texas for about 12 years. I'm from the East Coast, Washington, D.C. area, where, the voting cycle, elections, politics is something we talk about every day. Since I've come here, one of the things I've noticed is that, especially in certain parts of Fort Worth, they're just not into politics. And I know that the kids, and we have a teacher right here in the studio, that's not something they talk about. So the kids are not being, acclimated to how important politics is and voting and all that stuff at a younger age. But I know in some of the whiter schools, that's what they're telling them. So if you had to come across, and I'm sure you probably do, had to come across someone who just pretty much feel that voting is wrong, doesn't do anything, nothing changes, the politicians get in office, and they do the same thing, or they don't follow their commitments, how would you either convince, persuade, or entice that type of person to actually get out and vote?
That's a really tough question because it's hard. I travel the state and I get in Ubers and I hear folks saying, "Hey, I don't want to vote. I don't care." Well, I guess you could look at it several ways. Would you want you in office? What do you think you could do to make things better? Do you like the way the police act during a protest? If you don't, then guess what? You need to vote for your mayor. You need to vote for your city council. You can go out and protest, but if you're not registered to vote, what impact are you going to have when you call that city council member and say, the next time there's a protest, don't you dare spray those kids with rubber bullets. You look in your neighborhood and the trash is not being picked up. That's the responsibility of your county commissioner. When was the last time you contacted your county commissioner? And if you say, oh, they just don't care, because you have to make them care. You have to make them accountable. You can't just sit by. You have a voice. Make that call. You don't like what's going down in Austin. I'm scared to death. If we don't flip certain seats, the biggest issue facing the legislators is redistricting. They are going to change the districts. If you think it's crazy that your neighbor across the street can't vote for the same legislator,
wow,
you have a voice. You need to make that change. And the thing is, it's all interrelated, because guess what? Issues regarding redistricting will no longer be heard by the U.S. Supreme Court. They said that's a state issue. So if you're going to raise issues regarding redistricting or gerrymandering, it's going to end up in the Texas Supreme Court. Who sits at the Texas Supreme Court matters. It doesn't matter that you didn't know about them, but if you care enough about your issues, you're going to have to care about ensuring that your will is protected at every level of government.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Very
that
good
includes-
answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, great answer because it includes the census as well.
That's
know.
right.
People need to fill that
Mhm.
census.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
So, did anyone else have any questions, comments, anything for Judge Williams before we let her go?
Thank you.
Thank
Go
you
ahead.
so much.
Sorry, go ahead.
Everyone's excited about the election, but tomorrow is key. Tomorrow's the last day to register to vote. And even if you did register, remember 2 years ago, the Secretary of State of Texas purged 200,000 voters from their rolls. So even if you think that you were registered, I got a report from someone in Tyler who had voted in the Democratic primary and just checked his name wasn't on the roll. Guys, there's going to be a lot of money business. If they don't want the elections administrator in Houston just to mail out applications, vote by mail, if they want to now reduce the number of drop-off points in the county for the vote by mail, guys, they're scared. There's a way to change, but we have to be smart about it. So please, tomorrow, October 5th, is the last day to register to vote, but you've got to check your voter registration status.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
absolutely.
that's a real good point. That's a real good point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, did you guys have any questions? Any more questions or comments?
I am flabbergasted.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Yes,
I'm
I'm very
impressed.
impressed. Yeah, other than that, I have no questions. I don't want her to
Okay.
endorse anybody. Just
So, Judge Williams, do you have any questions for us?
Okay, what are you guys doing to get out the vote?
Right now, this is one of the ways we're doing it. I mean, we all have regular day jobs. I know that's probably a poor excuse. But, we're actually using this platform to entice people. We have, with this network alone, we have about 27 different shows. Just about all of these shows are talking somewhere during their shows. A lot of these shows are independent, so I can't tell them what to say. But, all of our shows that are KMWi-Media sponsored shows, we are actually using the vote, telling people how important it is to get out and vote, how important it is to get out and register. So, but this particular show, because we're a political show, we're really using this as a platform.
And I'm also talking, for me, I'm talking to people who have never voted, who actually were incarcerated and didn't feel like they didn't have any rights to vote. And I'm talking to them, as well as I'm signing up as a election judge and trying to go through the training to be there when the polls come out. So I'll know how it looks on the inside as well.
Okay. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I just thank you for the opportunity. This has been great. Being able to have a platform to just have people meet me and understand I'm out there. And I'll just add, in the 174-year history of the Texas Supreme Court, there's never been an African-American female. It is time that we have our voices heard.
Absolutely.
And you've got someone who's experienced and qualified. So I just ask for your vote.
Right. And we will be rebroadcasting this.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yes.
Yeah,
there
we'll
will be
re-air it.
opportunities for
Yeah.
others
Yes.
to see your interview and to see the show as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Judge Williams, I think that's come to the end of our time, but I'm really, really glad that you took the time out. I know you have a busy schedule right now, but you took the time to join us on We the People.
Yes.
And we wish you nothing but the best of luck. I know that you're going to do great in this election, and I expect to see your name up on the Texas Supreme Court
Yes.
in the next
Yes.
several weeks from now, and I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank
And we
you
want to
so
come to the
much.
party. When you win, we want invitations to the party, Staci.
Yep.
Short of COVID, it might be a year later. That's
okay. That's okay.
But when we get in,
okay.
it's going to be, as Don Pelia says, a stone gas.
And I know it's early, but we would love for you to come back on the show for any kind of capacity, no matter
Absolutely.
what situation it is.
Yeah,
If we need your expertise,
yeah, absolutely.
or even just
Your advice.
or just to keep us abreast of what's going on
Yeah.
in our state.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. And you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be seeing you on the ballot.
Great. Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you so much.
Bye, Stace.
Bye. Good
Bye.
seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys, that was pretty good.
That was so
I'm impressed with
informative.
her.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yes.
You know, it seemed to be this for the past decade. There's been this huge women's movement. And I kind of self-labeled myself as a feminist. because I believe in women's causes, women's rights, women's equality, all those things. I kind of been in the spotlight now because we're doing this network. But if you look around the studio, you know, we have a lot of female shows. We have a lot of lesbian shows, which it doesn't matter, we're crossing all the borders. But, you know, we have more female shows than anything. I have a female executive right now. And that's not to give me credit. What I'm saying is I do promote diversity. And I think it's important that we as an organization is being an example of how important that type of diversity is, promoting women's rights, because I believe in the backbone, women are the backbone of America. I really believe that. I believe that for a long time. But anyway,
But
go ahead.
yes, I was just trying to, as in this interview, it is so refreshing to hear a candidate who knows the job that they're applying for,
Right.
Yes.
and understands the history, the backstory, and putting the work in.
Absolutely.
Because we often hear politicians talk at two sides of the mouth, saying what they'll do, knowing it's not in their power to do it.
Right.
Right.
Especially at the state level.
Yes.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
know, I mean, the national level is a little different thing, but at the state level, for someone to speak it in her tone, you know,
Yeah.
to me is powerful.
Yes. Yes. And it's, you know, it's not about what you have a D on R or what an L or G on it. It's the fact that, you know, we do not need to be on somebody's team. People already got the Cowboys.
Right.
You know, we need to know always, do you know the job that you're trying to apply for?
Right.
Mm.
Right. Right.
Anything else, don't give me that pomp and nonsense. Because this is the most important thing, because it is our vote, and our vote is precious.
And there's something else you said, which I believe 100%. I even said it quite a few times. It is our responsibility as citizens to keep these politicians accountable. We have to. You know, people say, like she was saying, and she's answering the question, that, you know, while you're having these problems with these issues, local government's not doing this, you need to get in there and make those people work for you. You know, that's why
Yeah.
they're getting paid.
Yeah.
You know, and can you imagine that there's a person in political office that doesn't get no calls from his own constituents? No one's calling, complaining, asking for this, asking for that. So they're pretty much set free. And I think that former state senator guy was one of them, because he didn't seem like he did much work.
Mhm.
So he
Yeah.
probably didn't have to. What is it, 20 years he's been in?
25 years.
25 years. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to say any names, but I'm sure people who follow Texas politics know who he is. But anyway, with that being said, I think we're about to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And during this break, we're going to hear one of our promo videos. And on the other side, we'll come back with facts and feelings.
Okay, why can't I find
Yeah, I couldn't find it
the
either.
video?
I couldn't find
It
the video.
didn't send it to me either.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll just get the replay.
Yeah.
Probably need a sound engineer first.
It's frozen.
Yeah, I would wait. Wow, those stories.
Yeah.
It's good.
God damn.
Using up.
It's frozen.
It's
You
almost
got
like
the camera off me?
just pop the in. I will put cooking, you gotta be in filler.
Yeah.
It's frozen. Yeah, she's a smart girl.
Mm-hmm. I love though that
Oh,
she
getting fresh.
is about educating people and letting them
Her
know.
citizens.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me you're trying to turn yourself in because you know you're caught, and then the cops still walk past you because it's normal for them to see you with a gun? However, if it's me, I'm gonna get ran over, shot probably before I'm even able to raise up my hands.
The point is, if you can't accept that failure is the option, how can you shoot for the star?
All my life, I need light skin. So
That's a very intimate position. That's old faithful. That's what I would call that. It is. That's old faithful. Right? That's your mama, your daddy, your grandmama, her husband. Everybody knows this. Your ancestors, your great grandparents. And if you can't do nothing else, you right here. You looking right at each other. Right here. Look that level.
Well, my mama female, man.
Cucumbers. Pineapples. Pineapples it is.
Anytime somebody challenges you, you think they're disrespectful.
If anybody, anytime somebody don't like your music or your style, they hate me and you disrespectful. So we don't really understand what that means.
Treat others how you want to be treated. I mean, just because somebody looks different on the outside, somebody has a mental health issue or anything like that.
Does not mean that they don't have to. Because they probably smarter than you and probably kick your boo.
So it's hood snatch, right?
Yeah, like, he can't relate.
Listen, I can. My mom used to take me to the hood all the time.
If your digits are not tied to something that either produces or preserves productive energy, then there's a good chance that it is not in something that's actually really valuable.
Hey there. So we are back and we're going to talk about some facts and feelings today. So I guess we'll start with the feelings. And this is something that I've had some feelings about for a while now. And it kind of came to a head a couple weeks ago. It has to do with Breonna Taylor. And, you know, just the fact that her family, her mom was awarded $12 million by the city of Louisville for her unjust murder. And yeah, it's great that they're getting that money, but for me, it still doesn't represent justice. You know, their money is great, but it's not going to bring her back. So I just, you know, my feelings about that are, I still got a little rage about that. You know, especially now after the grand jury and realizing that, you know, yes, the family's getting that money, but nobody is going to face any justice. I just, you know, kind of have a feeling, I just have a bad feeling about the whole justice system, the criminal justice system.
One person is facing a charge.
Well, yeah, for what? For
shooting in another apartment.
Shooting into another apartment.
For tearing up property.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so, you know, he put a bullet in some drywall, and so he's got to pay for that. But
$200 fine, $200 fine probably.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, it's like the life of this black woman who was not a criminal. She had not done anything wrong. She was in her bed asleep. They took her life, and they've paid her family money for it, but her life was priceless. And there aren't going to be any charges. You know, of all the things that were debated, I haven't listened to all the tapes from that grand jury hearing, but you know, of all the things that were debated, not one of them had to do with the fact that there were bullets pumped into her body. It was all about the bullets that hit the drywall. And it was only the drywall of one of the apartments. From what I understand, bullets went into several apartments, but, you know, only the apartments of the white couple, that's the only one that the police officers actually even being charged for. So it just, you know, it's just infuriating.
Was it Black Ops?
You would almost think, right?
Yeah.
But it's infuriating, just, you know, to realize how little our lives seem to be valued. You know, money doesn't bring her back.
Well, if you start looking at the facts, the key issue is responsibility and accountability of police. And one of the major problems that I have found in trying to do research about this problem is that there is no central repository or database that lists the number of police officers or incidents where there is any type of retribution or any type of accountability made for police. And the reason for that is because police agencies self-report those things that happen. And because they self-report, then that means that it's based their total judgment in terms of what they report and what they do not report. Reuters estimates that 1,000 people are killed by police annually, and that's, you know, just from data that they have put together. USA Today did a huge study in 2019 using information through the Freedom of Information Act, and in their study they found that 85,000 cops were still on active duty, and they all had been investigated for misconduct over the past 10 years across the country. And some of these were repeat offenders. They also found in their report that there were over 200,000 incidents of alleged misconduct, and much of it is unreported. That 110,000 internal affairs investigations had been done by hundreds of organizations across the country. 30,000 officers have been decertified by oversight agencies in 44 states, and 22,000 cases of excessive force. And then the Atlantic did a study, and in their study, their research showed that black men are 3 times more likely to be killed by the police than white men. So that was their report. Now, one of the things you talked a little bit about funding and paying for, the families of victims.
Right.
And so they call those, the money that they use come through bonds, and they call those police brutality bonds.
So that's where the 12 million came from.
That's where the 12 million came from. And there is an organization, and the organization is called ACRE, and ACRE stands for, let me find it so I can tell you, so I can be accurate.
And this, to follow up what she said, the city takes out bonds separate to their own budget.
I'm getting to that.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Okay, ACRE is the Action Center on Race and the Economy. And so they have a report that they did on police brutality bonds. And they did a case study. They looked at 12 cities across the country. And in those 12 cities, what they determined was that there's a total of $1.73 billion in costs related to police brutality bonds.
So it's a bond. It has a name. It's like they're planning for this. So let's put money aside because we know that the cops are going to kill somebody.
And so then what happens is, like you were saying, the city set aside money. That's true to a certain extent. What also happens is that these bonds are funded through Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, and the Bank of America. And so what's happening is Wall Street is profiting
on Black Death.
On Black Death is what's happening.
Are we surprised?
Oh, well.
I mean, really, are we surprised?
Right. And the total amount of bonds for these 12 cities was $877.9 million. So we're talking a lot of money, that's being paid. And some of it, they looked at 5 cities in particular. They looked at Chicago, Cleveland, Lake County, Los Angeles, and Milwaukee. And they did 5 case studies. And what they figured out pretty much was that the total estimated police brutality bonds was $837.8 million. The interest that was paid to the investments for these bonds was $891 million. The total cost to the taxpayers, which is what you were talking about, is $1.73 billion.
Wow. And none of that's from the cops, because probably the cops don't even live in that jurisdiction to pay the taxes.
That is correct. So that's coming from our tax dollars.
So Breonna Taylor's taxes actually paid for the settlement that went to her mother.
That is correct.
So they knew what they were doing when that offer was made.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was no negotiation on that thing. It was like, okay, we'll give you this, and that'll be it.
We've budgeted for this.
Right.
Were they given some type of non-disclosure not to talk about the case since they were given this offer? Anybody aware of that?
They're not supposed to talk about the total sum of money.
But that's public. Was it more?
Well,
or less?
Well, they agreed for the city to enact programs.
Oh, the no-knock warrants.
Yeah,
Right.
no, that was already made into law before that happened.
Okay.
No more no-knock warrants. I mean, stuff like putting out money for police to actually live in the communities, for police to spend their time, some couple 2 hours every 2 weeks to spend time in their community and stuff like that.
Right.
The problem, I mean, of course, is if somebody's supporting the police, I mean, we want the police to do right. But when it comes to politicians, police, anybody, we just want transparency.
Right.
Transparency and accountability.
That's my biggest thing. Just be accountable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or someone else should be accountable who's present, like what happened to George Floyd. There should be strong accountability. And then those cases where there wasn't a camera.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't somebody watching and saw what happened. In this particular case, there was no camera. But there were the officers there. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying this was a right or wrong. What was wrong was them entering into the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
That was where the wrong was. Then, of course, someone got shot. Now, the accountability is that these officers, you know, based on this prosecutor, felt that there was no reason to charge these folks. But we all know that the tapes have been released. Is that right? Or the
They have been
transcripts?
released.
They have been released.
Yeah.
So I know there's still going to be some extra civil cases coming out of this.
Oh yeah, because
The other neighbors.
are
Yeah, the neighbors
Right.
are going to
Yeah.
sue as well.
So that's another.
So I think the federal government's going to get involved. There might be civil rights violations getting involved.
Absolutely.
So I think, if anything, I think it's going to be civil rights. So those officers still could be charged who was actually, you know, who fired their weapon.
But
But I was going to say, with these bonds and everything, you know, some of the issues are, first of all, you've got police departments that are not being held accountable.
They have no
for the
skin in the
actions.
game.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know, so that's a key issue. And then the other thing is, when you pay off settlements like that, then what you end up doing is you end up silencing the victims.
Yeah.
Right. I
Because-
mean, that's, yeah, pretty much.
Right,
Yeah.
because I've gotten money, and so now I have no right to say anything else about
Yeah, I've been
what
paid
happened.
off.
I've been paid off. Is basically what it is.
Mhm.
Right.
And also that you have cities which could grow their community
Correct.
to be added more to the tax base,
Right.
being
Losing
underserved.
money. Right. So
Underserved.
infrastructure is not being taken care of, and
Right.
other key issues because they're having to pay money for bonds. They're having to borrow to pay off the debt
Yes.
of misconduct.
And it could take decades
Right.
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 to cover that.
Well, there's a lot that's been happening in the past couple of weeks, you know, on top of what's been going on with the Breonna Taylor case. Last week we had a debate, first presidential debate of 2020.
What?
Yeah, they was talking. They had a conversation.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, well,
Yes.
there was, well, okay, let's
Should I keep talking over you like this
Right.
and interrupt you?
Yeah, exactly. So we can repeat that right
Yeah.
now.
That's my definition of a conversation.
You know, this is, and I put this out on Facebook. This is where I look at it. This is just my humble opinion, because I think I put it about in my article on Facebook. Trump doesn't care about democracy. He doesn't care at all. He doesn't feel that he should be reelected. He feels that he should be automatically renewed in January, if there is a term. He just wants to get rid of terms. He also doesn't believe he has to go through the debates. So he's up there not wanting to be there, not thinking like it's beneath him, you know, because he's talking to his buddy on the other side of the world that doesn't have to go through that. You know, Trump is like, why, you know, you should implement things. I mean, he knows more about the federal government, U.S. federal government, than Trump does. However, he's saying you have to set this tone, because if you want to set the tone, bring change, that's how you have to do it. He's probably going to try to get the military, if he stays another 4 years, to enact some type of thing to put us in bondage so we can be, anyway. So that's just me talking too far out of the neck. But the bottom line is, he doesn't care about the election. He's going along with the game. He doesn't care about democracy. It's been evident by the way he acted in this debate. Now, people say, well, that was a strategy. You know something? I don't think it was. Because I can't see Chris Christie working with him to do exactly this. If anything, he would have said, you need to be accurate because Biden is going to be.
But Rudy Giuliani was a part of that also.
Yeah, but...
So it was like the two devils on his shoulders?
Right.
Okay.
The good and the bad.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, Rudy, okay, you know something? Bottom line is, I'm going back to what I said before.
Okay.
I don't believe he's going to get reelected. So,
Okay.
I'm
leaning that way now, too.
You leaning?
I'm leaning that way more.
You just started?
Yeah.
You've been on the show for 6 months. You just started. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Did it have anything to do with those numbers that came out today, the 53?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
And the 39%?
Yeah.
Wow.
If we could just make sure all our votes get counted.
Yeah, all right.
But the debate did have a little bit of substance.
Oh, yeah, it did. There was
A
some
little bit.
substance. There
Yeah.
really
A little
was.
substance. And
There
I'm
really
talking
was.
about,
There were some telling
Right.
points.
yes. Now Biden did have, you know, he did try to talk directly into the
Actually, he
camera
did talk.
and try to-
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
He
He realized pretty quickly that looking at Trump was not going to get him anywhere, and
Right.
he started talking directly to the American
Yes,
people.
because it was like a top. It was like, you know how
Shut up, man.
you're a parent. You're a parent, and the kid says, "Mama, mama, 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 mama," and you just like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
I just wish that he would be quiet.
yes.
I wish Chris Wallace had something to turn that mic off. I guess maybe next
Well,
one.
he
if
wasn't the
there's a next one.
engineers, so
Yeah.
you know. But nobody told the engineers. Nobody from either party was standing back to the engineer saying, "Hey, just kill this mic. He's talking too much."
They
Mike Wallace a
agreed.
chance.
Well, that would had to have been one of those pre-debate agreements that
Right.
they would be.
But you have to
do
know
that.
that it would happen too.
Right.
Yeah.
So and they've even talked about that
Yeah.
because they said that Trump's party has said no, we're not making any changes to the debate rules.
So is
from
Trump's
this
party
point
not the
forward.
Republican Party? At least you had to slide that one in there.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Okay.
I mean, like his party of people.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, we're doing the
Gotcha.
debate and
His
stuff.
party?
His-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
His group, his folks.
yeah, but the problem was they let Trump just say what he wanted to say, how he wanted to say it, and hardly he was checked on it. You know, when you talk about climate change, you talk about breaking the leaves again. You know, there was you know a tornado in Iowa or derecho or whatever it is, and hurricanes every time, and
Right.
they could have checked them on that. They could.
Well, they said they weren't going to fact check.
That,
That
yeah,
Wallace
Yeah.
was not going to fact check.
and it proves wrong
Don't
to
debate.
not do that.
Hey, you know something? You want to say something? Because I don't want to cut you off.
No, you go right ahead.
I think that honestly, I think that everything that happened in the debate was supposed to happen. Because I think
Who's design?
you know something, to God's.
Okay.
I think there was something divine happening, and He said, "Well, I'm allowing you to be who you are, and then we'll show the world."
That's why it's 53 and 39.
That's right there. Because look at the back results. Here's
Right.
almost a week later, and look what happened.
Right.
Look at what's
To
happening.
those who don't know what I'm talking about, the
poll
polls came out and basically Biden has 53% and Twiddler has 39%.
The ABC Wall Street
And I think before the debate, he was at 42 and 44, right?
Yeah, it was getting
It
tight.
was
It was
close. It
tightening
was
up.
within the margin of error.
So his dropped a few points, but Biden's jumped a whole lot.
Yes.
Mhm.
It
So, which means that a lot of
did. It
the
meant the
people,
undecideds.
They
actually
realized this
decided.
can't
or it
go
could have been
on.
some Republicans, and I've seen on some news reports where there are some some Republicans are actually saying that, because he got it, he really did lie to us. So now there's proof. Now I know there's some people out there watching who are saying, I don't believe he got it. He has it. And that's one thing I think is truthful. Now, how sick he is, I think that's still,
Who was that person riding around in the motorcade today? I mean, not the motor. Yeah, it was a motorcade. Who was that person
Body
parading
double.
around?
Body double.
All we saw was his eyes.
Yeah. Well, before we get into this COVID stuff.
there's so much more.
I'm still talking about debates.
I'm talking about debates. No. The one thing that really, I felt when I first started, it was sad. It was sad for America because we were the losers.
What, when he came down with it?
No, 2 minutes into the debate, it was just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Even though
Horrible.
Biden tried to laugh it off, and then it just became like, I'm done with you. But
Man, will you just shut up?
yeah, but the one,
Come on, man.
But the one thing that bothered me is that when they got into race, first Chris Wallace was like, "Well, you can talk about something else." I'm like, no, we're talking about race.
Right.
And then when he did talk about race, he tried to pretend like he didn't hear the question.
Oh, he heard it.
And yeah,
he was trying to
definitely
prepare
heard
an
it.
answer.
Yeah.
He had to respond, so he's trying
Yeah.
to prepare one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he announces, Biden says Proud Boys, and that
He says,
triggers.
pick a group.
Yeah,
Pick-
Biden
pick-
says
pick a name.
yes, and it
What do you
triggers
want me to
him.
say?
Stand by, stand back.
Right.
And
He was caught on the spot. He didn't know what to say. He's trying to stick with his supporters.
Right.
Because who his strongest supporters are. So he had to say something, but he didn't want to say, wow everybody else with saying something really outlandish.
Right.
But he's always been accused of racism. How can you not prepare
So
for that?
my question is, and I'm gonna get real
Okay.
devil's advocate now. What did we expect? Did we really expect him to say, yeah, I'm a racist, I don't like black people or minorities? Do we really expect him to say that?
We expected him to lie.
Well, just like we all knew, in advance, we knew what the 5 subject areas were,
Right.
and that was one.
So you think he would have prepared for a better answer, right?
Well, this is what I think. I think that you can give him all the preparation in the world, but because he is such a narcissist that he will not take the preparation and that he thinks that he always knows better and can do better. And that's exactly what he did on that day, and that's why he ended up looking like a complete imbecile.
I think he also, though, I think he wanted to throw Biden off Biden had come out about, having had a stutter as he grew up.
Right.
And I think that he just came out of the gate swinging.
To make him stutter.
Yeah, so that
And
he
he
couldn't.
did.
And Biden was
from
never really able to get his footing and make a complete point because Trump kept cutting him off. And I think that was part of his strategy too. It didn't matter what he said, just as long as he kept just cutting him off and keeping him off kilter.
It backfired on him because it made him look like a complete bully.
Mm-hmm.
It put him in a bully pulpit is what it did.
But it wasn't even a smart bully pulpit.
It was
nothing
smart.
he said made any sense. Nothing
No.
he said was true.
Right.
He was just spouting crap.
Right.
And I think the other part was his own emotions. He felt intimidated coming out there.
Yeah.
He knew that. I don't care how much. And I know that Chris Christie and Giuliani, they know Biden. Biden knows his shit.
Well, before COVID ran off, we knew Trump was scared because of the stuff they tried to pin on Biden.
Right.
With the
the
alleged rape,
and
the son, and that's another thing. He's talking about his kids.
Yeah.
Are we
He got
surprised?
super personal.
Yeah.
I am not surprised.
I am not surprised.
You know something?
by
I'm gonna
it.
be honest. For me, it was kind of entertaining.
Well,
It was frustrating that I wanted to hear some points. I wanted to hear how he really felt about it. But then again, I started thinking, I know how Trump feels about these issues. He don't give a flying, about these issues because of who he is. He's been showing us for almost 4 years who he is. And what they say, when your mama say that guy, when he show you who he is, what is it?
Believe it.
So he's been showing us for 4 years. As a matter of fact, we knew Trump before he even got elected.
Right.
We knew who he was. Do we expect something different? We were hoping because he got elected. Oh, he'll be a better person. Oh, he'll be a better. He'll run the country.
He will respect it. He'll respect the office.
Yeah, he'll respect
He'll
the
grow
office.
into it.
He has absolutely no respect for the office. And what's crazy is not the fact that Trump is who he is, the fact that there are career politicians that follow him. That will do things to protect his interests. That's what bothers me more than anything.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have their opinions. Everybody's going to work a certain way when they get in that office. But here's a guy who's deliberately doing dirt. And there's so many people
Without discretion.
with impunity.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing it because I can keep doing it because I can.
Right.
He's arrogant, he's cocky, he's narcissist, and he's built up this coalition of people in government that will back him up. Of course, we know their motives. Their motives that he can do stuff for us while he's in that position.
Right.
We know that Mitch McConnell's one of them.
Yeah.
His top
No one's
supporter.
loyal to him.
Huh? No one's loyal to him.
They're
And
all-
if Trump got sick and he become incapacitated, watch how these votes change in the Senate when it comes to certain things that he was for.
Exactly.
It's gonna flip, just like Lindsey Graham gonna switch back.
Now, since we established the point that Trump is going to be Trump.
Yep.
Is there anything that you saw in the debate that Biden could improve on?
Not
Because
now.
it's two more.
To me, not
Yes.
that one. But okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, just tune him out. Stay focused.
Okay, yeah.
And respond.
Yeah.
Stay focused and respond. I mean, pretend that he is not even there. Don't let him rattle you.
Talk to the camera.
Talk to the camera.
Yeah.
I thought that was
And that was what he
fabulous
did.
And to the
strategy.
moderator.
Yeah.
and
I
to the
thought it was
moderator.
very, very good. Talk to the camera, talk to the American people, talk to the moderator, stay on point, ignore everything that he says.
He never looked Trump's way.
I wouldn't
He
either.
never
No.
looked his way a single time, and I thought that was amazing.
Right. But those are the things that I would do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Because the next one's probably going to be a town hall
Right.
where he got to answer
Oh,
the
it
crowd.
could be virtual. It could be
A
virtual.
virtual town hall.
Yeah.
And if I remember the last town hall Trump did,
He did not do well.
No, he didn't.
The Anderson Cooper.
No, the one with George Stephanopoulos.
Oh, George Stephanopoulos. That's
Oh.
right. Right, with George.
Okay.
Yeah, where people were in his face
Right.
telling him what he should and should not do.
Right, because that sister said, I haven't finished my question.
Mm-hmm.
And he back all the way the hell down.
Well,
Yeah.
go back to the one 4 years ago. Well, more than 4 years. Well, about 4 years ago when he
Was stalking.
debated Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's stalking behind her. He looked like a pit bull just ready to attack, right?
Yeah.
That was his intimidation tactic.
It was.
But you got to give her credit. She held her ground.
Mm-hmm.
She did
Answered the
it.
question.
Honestly, if you rate both first debates,
Mm-hmm.
Clinton did better than Biden.
Yeah.
She is.
Well,
she's
he
a little
didn't
more
cut her
articulate.
off. He didn't come at her with the same
He didn't
strategy.
come here like that, right?
Yeah.
And he was new at it
And
too. So.
but I think he also knew he couldn't do that to a woman
You
either.
think he cares?
I don't think he cares, but he wanted to win, and I think
Yeah.
that would have been the one thing that she'd have gotten some sympathy for.
Yeah.
As much as people are, but
So
her
you think
emails.
that if she was the candidate right now, right, who won the nomination.
He wouldn't have done
He
it
wouldn't
to
have
her.
over talked to her.
That would
You don't
not.
think so?
That would not have been a strategy with
Y'all
her.
give him too much
I think
credit.
his strategy.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think his strategy with Biden was specific. I think it was to not let him get his footing, because letting him get his footing would mean that he would be allowed to talk and talk about COVID and talk about the stuff that he is messing up on.
Okay.
And bring up his taxes. I mean,
just
there's
think
so
that
many
Trump would have-
things.
I think Trump would have. I mean, they would have told him don't do this, but I think they told him a lot of things not to do in this debate, and he did his own thing.
Well, he had
So-
the opportunity to do it 4 years ago, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he didn't know that much then. He's been in office for 4 years,
But he's been a
built up
bully
his-
all his life.
He's
Well,
been,
well,
exactly,
he's
been
built up his
a bully.
knowledge bank a little bit, so he felt that, look, I don't give a fuck about Biden. So he probably, and he doesn't even hate Clinton. He didn't hate Clinton.
No.
He just wanted to beat
They
him.
partied together.
But he doesn't know and he doesn't like Biden, right?
Right.
So, and then, then he got Giuliani and those other folks on his corner that's telling him, you need to go after this guy. You need to do this and do that. Trump couldn't go after him. But Trump in his own way said, look, I got to beat him the way I know how to beat him. Y'all telling me to do this or don't do that. Bottom, I got to go the way I know. I'm a New Yorker. I talk. I've been talking all my life. This is how I got what I got. So I think that he himself decided, look, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And he went completely off script. Why would you expect him to do it now? That was not a planned strategy. That was him.
Okay.
I think he just had to keep Biden from talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was him. His ego and everything else that came along with it. He was threatened. He felt like he was threatened. He knew he was threatened going in. He knew he's the underdog going into this debate. But he's the president. How many presidents, current sitting presidents, are underdogs going into a presidential debate?
Very rare.
Very rare.
Yeah.
But he knew that going in. And then if he wasn't, in his mind he is, so he's going to go and try to counter it. But I'm going to do this stuff ain't strong enough for me.
So what is his number 2 going to do for Wednesday's debate?
I'm going to tell you, this one is going to be a much more cordial debate, right? But I think that Kamala has enough in her arsenal to attack this administration on many levels. On so many levels.
Well, he is the head of the COVID commission, so.
Right. Well, even that. That right there alone.
That's just one thing.
That's one. Right. That's one thing. But the mere fact that he's supporting someone like Trump, he's the number 2. You never spoke out against him on certain things. You knew he was wrong. It's not your job to speak out against your president. But, dude, we don't know. We're just assuming that things he's saying in those meetings, with Trump and the rest of the administration, that he's sitting back and he's watching. He has a couple of words. Matter of fact, Trump don't trust him. Trump does not trust him, but he knows he's a lapdog. He's the guy that's going to be quiet and do what I want him to do. He's going to do it behind the scenes. He's not. If you notice, he's quite introverted. He's quite introverted, which is the opposite of Trump. So I think that in this debate with Kamala, sorry, let me get the name right. With Kamala, she's going to be poised. She's going to be direct. She's going to be deliberate. You know what I mean?
Well, it will be civilized.
She's going to prosecute him.
She's going to prosecute him. There it is.
She's a great prosecutor, and she has great oratory skills.
Yeah. And Pence does too. Pence does too, but the tone's going to be different.
She's going to dance around him.
The same way that she had Keebler, Elf, when he said, "I'm scared."
Oh.
She's going to come out at him initially, and she is going to set the atmosphere and the tone for the entire debate, and he's not gonna know what to do.
He'll be calling for mother.
That's exactly what.
So they're supposed to be 12 feet apart, and are they gonna be?
They better be, because he's been exposed.
14 now. It's 14 now.
14.
He was in the Rose Garden.
Right.
He probably shouldn't even be there.
He should.
Well, I'm sure he's gonna get tested. I'm sure he's gonna get tested.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You mean the time when they were announcing the Supreme Court justice that Saturday, where now
that's the super spreader event.
Yeah, because 7 people.
Super spreader event.
Yes.
Wow.
There are 25 people who tested positive from that event.
Yep.
25.
I didn't know it was that many. Yeah, that's a lot.
You know, probably one person not on that list that should be on the list. Bill Barr, the Attorney General.
Because he was all up in everybody's face.
They tested him, but they said he's not. Okay,
Kellyanne was up in his face.
This is all who have tested positive. Trump, Melania, Hope Hicks, Kellyanne Conway, Ronna McDaniel, Mike Lee, Reverend John Jenkins from Notre Dame, the president, Chris Christie, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin.
Senator Ron Johnson.
Senator Ron Johnson. Is he on the Senate
Judiciary
Committee?
Yes.
Right.
2 of them is on the Judiciary.
Tom Tillis.
Judiciary
from
Committee of North Carolina. They're up for election.
Is it 3? I'm sorry. I'm
It's
Yes, it's 3.
From Judiciary.
Yes.
Bill Stepien, who is his campaign manager, 3 of the White House reporters, 1 White House staffer and 11 staffers who were from Cleveland. 25 people.
I want to ask you guys something.
Yes.
You know, thanks for providing that.
You're welcome.
I want to ask you guys something because we know that McConnell is still trying to ram this vote. Now, I know that those senators don't have to be present during the hearings.
But they have to be present to vote.
To vote, right?
The main vote.
At first, there was only 2. There was Tillis and, what was the other one?
Lee.
No, Johnson, wasn't it?
It was Lee.
Ron Johnson.
It was first Lee from Colorado. Then it was Tillis, and now it's Ron Johnson.
Okay, so there's 3.
And Lindsey Graham was also he was in a room as well. He was. And he did not look that great at his debate, I'm just going to say.
At the event.
So they can keep it quiet.
At the event.
He's the chairperson.
At the event, the GOP conservative judiciary part of the committee was at the event. The whole, from Marshall Blackburn on, they were there, except for Ted Cruz.
Right.
So yeah, I know, right? But
sorry, that wasn't right.
So there's people who are going to need to come to Jesus and tell us, you know. So Mitch McConnell, since all these people he said, we're just going to shut it down for 2 weeks. Right. So forget COVID relief. Right. Forget everything else. We're going to shut it down. So when you come back 2 weeks, we're going to go through this Supreme Court. Forget everything else.
We're going to forget everything else, and that's our priority over the people.
He did say that if they do come to an agreement about COVID relief, that he would call for a vote on that, is what he said.
Oh, so he did say that.
I do, yeah, he did say that. I heard that today.
I saw that today. But the other thing is, with the vote for the Supreme Court, he already has 2 dissenting senators.
Yeah,
right. He has 2 dissenting, and so then he has the 3 who are sick.
That's 5.
That's 5. If all 5 of
he's
them,
short right now.
That would make him short.
He's short. Well, actually, Pence can be the deciding vote.
No,
I think it's almost
that's 50-50. 4 would be with Pence as a deciding vote. 5 means they lose it, so he's short at this point.
Yeah.
So if those 3 don't come back, then he's up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah. So that's why he's negotiating.
Is this God working his divine power to make this thing happen?
That's.
I mean, is it? I mean, I don't know.
RGB.
That's right.
That's RGB. She's having her. She's having her case. She's having her way.
She's like, respect my wishes.
I'm getting my way.
I said wait after the election. That's what I want. That's interesting. So with that, with these senators having COVID, that's our segue into our next topic. And we're running out of time, so we're gonna whip through this one. COVID, what's going on? This president has come down. We just talked about it. And how many you said? 25.
25.
25
people. That super spread
that we know. That we know.
Right. At this point,
Ramsey,
at this date.
I mean, Lindsey Graham may be one.
There's several others.
Barr may be one.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, a lot of these people are present. So I think that because some of the Republicans are flipping right now, or at least they're not undecided. They know who they want to vote for. I think they're going to decide not to vote. And because of that, because some of the stories I'm hearing when they were interviewing them on the news today, they were saying that, you know, I was all for Trump. I'm a Trump supporter, blah, 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 blah. But when he came down with it, it really told me that maybe he lied. Now, I don't know why she just decided that he just lied, but he's been lying to us. And she actually resorted back to the interview with Bob Woodward. You know, she heard
who is this? Was this Collins or who was this?
No, this was an actual supporter.
Okay.
And someone was interviewing her, and she said that, you know, and there was like a couple people with her that felt the same, who were Trump supporters, are having the same doubts. I think that's going to be a mass defection across the country because he is sick. Now, someone said, you know, I was saying on the previous show, that maybe he's faking. But there's no benefit to him faking. It only hurts him if he's faking this whole thing, saying that he has COVID. Sympathy votes ain't gonna get it.
If he's faking and he gets better like that, then he can come back and say, "I told you COVID was nothing.
That ain't
Look
gonna
at
happen.
me."
Oh, no, I'm a warrior.
Right.
I am destined. I am destined by God.
No. It's the doctor said that I was healthy and I was strong, and that's why I was able to fight it off the way that I was. And they've never seen anything like it before. That's what he's going to say.
Look,
like an African dictator.
Right.
They are some of the most trained and highly sought after doctors in the White House. Right. So they can take whatever he's doing, getting in the hospital, into the White House. and they can make it appear that he's so much better. You know, they can have him walking around with robe on, presidential robe on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm up and about, but I'm still recovering. I need to stay quarantined, blah, 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 blah. So it's going to look like he's getting better. Bottom line is, I don't think he is. I know some people much healthier than he is, was sicker than he is, who came down with it. You know what I mean?
Chris Cuomo was
Chris
doing
Cuomo's
this show
about a
every day
month.
and was sweating.
For about a month.
And was,
Now, I understand he's given some type of narcotics, not narcotics, I'm sorry, some cocktails.
What is recidivir?
Recidivir.
Yeah.
Remdesivir.
You know,
and a steroid and something else.
Yes.
And they're thinking that he must have pneumonia because of
And if he
all
got
that they're
pneumonia,
giving him.
Yeah. If he got pneumonia, that's just what, I mean, I had pneumonia early part of this year, and I had the flu.
That's hard.
So I was bedridden for 5 days. You know, and I was relatively healthy before that.
Yeah.
But, and I'm 20 some years younger than he is. So, and I'm definitely gonna have to wait to hear. But, you know, bottom line is, you know, and I think I ate better. He ate a lot of junk. Anyway, so that's just me throwing in a little.
That's pretty, that's just too much.
Well, we won't say you ate
irrelevant.
better, because remember, there were the sweets.
I eat sweets, yeah, but
Sodas.
I drank sodas.
No, he eats
But I eat vegetables. I eat vegetables.
Every day.
And they're like real green vegetables. You know, this guy didn't eat it. But anyway, he's eating McDonald's and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's
Yeah,
not about me.
shakes.
It's not about me. Why y'all talking about me? It's not
You
about
put
me.
yourself in it.
So, no, I really think that, I really do believe that he can't recover. He's not going to recover this fast. And it doesn't matter at this point. I think the people have already decided that they're going to vote for Biden.
You know,
Well, I think he lied too, because I don't think he would be this sick this fast if he just got diagnosed.
Yeah, actually he would.
If he was taking a test every single day and he came
Nasal.
up, yeah.
Well, he wasn't getting tested. I think they said the White House people getting every 3 or 4 days.
But
No,
he
they said
he
was
claimed
getting tested
he
daily.
claimed
Oh, that was a
daily.
lie.
And so if it was Thursday and he goes in the hospital on Friday,
But he was
or
diagnosed
Saturday?
Wednesday, wasn't
He was
No,
diagnosed
Thursday.
Thursday.
Because he had some-
Thursday night.
Now, was this part of his routine test, or was he feeling sick?
No,
No.
he was
No,
because
it was
Hicks
routine.
had come down with the symptoms on Thursday.
Okay,
He had
that's
tested
right.
that was
positive
that was the
that
original story.
Right.
So that story's changed.
Well,
Yeah,
Yes.
the doctor said
on
Wednesday.
Saturday. Oh, yeah, on Saturday they said he first in a prepared statement said we're 72
2
hours
hours.
into it.
Into his treatment.
Yes.
That's basically what they said.
Yeah.
So
they
you guys
had-
believe he's sick, or you believe he's not sick?
I think he's sick.
I think he's sick.
And I think he's more sick than what he's putting
I
on.
think
Yeah.
he's not
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been flipping back and forth, but this is another
Even
thing.
on the fence.
Yeah, well, I was, but this is what he said after his little ride around.
Oh, there's more.
I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it
What?
by really going to school.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the real school. This isn't the real book school, and I get it and I understand it.
So what do you want to do?
So now what?
You know,
So yeah, now what?
So you've been lying
Lying
to
to
the
us.
to the American public because
You
you
didn't
didn't
understand
understand it,
yeah.
and because you don't believe science, and because you have scientists and medical professionals
Right.
that are there telling
Behind
you daily
you, telling you.
what needs to be done, and because you didn't believe it because it wasn't about you.
So what does all that signify? Really?
Narcissism.
Narcissism that he
This is what
does,
it
or he has a
signifies.
mental block where he can't comprehend certain things when it's told to him. So either he's just can't help it, or he's purposely blocking these things out.
Either
We know
way,
he's not involved in
lying.
security briefings every day. He has pence in those meetings because he doesn't understand and don't care. He does not care.
Not intelligent.
He's not.
No.
Yeah, he's not smart.
He's not.
Well,
He's
we
not
know
smart.
he doesn't have the
Intellect.
mental capacity
Exactly.
for
And
that
that
type
was
of
said
thinking.
to all his opponents
Mhm.
prior to coming to the election.
Right.
But, you know, anyway. So speaking about election, actually voting. I guess that'll be our last segue. There's an important day coming up tomorrow
Yes, the last day to register in the state of Texas.
in the state of Texas, right?
Yes.
And so,
And if you plan to vote by mail,
Oh.
plan ahead. I
Okay.
have this week from the U.S. Postal Service.
Now that document.
is not accurate.
No, it is not.
In terms of what it tells you to do or the steps,
Wow.
but it is a good reminder if you plan
Okay.
to vote by mail.
Yes,
So
and
get
I
your stuff
advise
in now.
anywhere in any state you live in, you go to your Secretary of State
Mhm.
and go to voting
right.
because they know the correct rules.
Correct.
And also there's a little video from NPR saying how if you have to mail your vote,
Right.
there's certain ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you fill in the squares, circles, and make sure your signature is accurate.
Did anybody get an accurate piece of information as to why this governor decided to only put one mailbox in every county?
No.
No justification. No
Just
no
security.
Security.
Yes.
So they got police officers watching those boxes in every county.
You know, I did have a before when the story came out, I did have a conversation on the show, and she did put a good point out there about.
Can she deliver the point?
Yes, I'm leading it to her. So yes.
You're handing it over now?
Yes.
So my one point is, even though it does feel like suppression because it's not giving people more options,
right.
What it's also doing is if somebody decides, I want to start throwing away Democratic ballots, if all of the ballots are in the same box, then they're less likely to be thrown away. So it's not fair for people that are going to have to travel far. I mean, because like Houston is huge. It's a hump.
Right.
And if you don't have a car, but you know what? It might be the time that we figure out some souls to the polls or something and just start organizing.
And the thing is, the guaranteed group who can mail by vote without an excuse is people 65 and over.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you're letting your nana go down miles into traffic and, you know, put her at risk with COVID and everything else.
Right.
So
There you go.
So I guess we'll start wrapping it up. Any closing remarks? Anyone?
we had a fabulous guest.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good
Please.
show.
Yes. Please go to her website. Just Google.
Judge Staci.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Staci, and you know, we learned a lot, and I.
For real.
Yes. Very optimistic on the future of Texas. Alone.
Yes.
Yeah. Hope she get in. Hope she gets in.
Yeah.
Sony, thank you for bringing her on board.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
I want to thank all of you guys for this show. Officially, this would be my last. Oh, I'm just joking. No, so, I'm sorry, I was stupid. Sorry, scratch it. I'll be back next week, 7:30 every Wednesday. On Sundays, if the Redskins not playing that, I can't say the Redskins no more. The Washington football team is not playing that particular hour, I will be here on the show. I'm not going to abandon you guys like that. So we have a topic for next week.
We are going to review the vice president debate.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and you know, there will be always a crazy situation within the White House.
That's gonna be something.
And there are possibly, you know, Senate debates going on, and we might be reviewing those as well.
Yes. Okay. So we'll be talking about debates next week. At least that'll be the center of the conversation next week.
Yes.
Unless something else pops up.
Unless we have a guest who would like to speak their mind.
Okay. So we'll be talking about debates next week. Okay. But anyway, so thank everybody for tuning in. Those of you logged in, if you're on Facebook or if you're on KMWi-Media.com, live streaming. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys at the same time next week.
All right.
Say peace out.
Huh?